And you know what time it is. Yeah, let's get to it. Had to play a little bit there, didn't I? Get out of my face. Where is he? There he is. What up, everybody? I'm John Zidar, also known as the Stock Wizard. This is On Top and Hot Live, where we're going to look at hot penny stocks. Nothing new for me, but this time the stocks come from you. Didn't we just do this like last week or something? Thanks, folks. I appreciate you showing up early, especially those of you that have given me tickers. This is what the show is all about, looking at stocks, looking at the fundamentals, the catalysts, the charts, of course. But I like to get that due diligence done early. I mean, you just don't want to follow me going through everything, looking for information, right? So thank you, folks, for bringing them in. I've got them all lined up for us. I think I stopped right down here at Smoltz Trades. I did get MBOT taken care of and everything above that, but we couldn't do FGL. FGL was $12 when I looked at it. This is a penny stock show, so maybe that was an oversight. So we had to say no to that one. But I did grab the other one you gave me, NCI, I think it was. So thank you for that. So these, if we have time, and I don't see why we shouldn't, we should be able to get to these, right? If I don't do too much of this, and as long as I hit the buttons. Now, in saying that, once we leave this page, I'm going to stay small. I'm not going to worry about hitting this button. I've got another screen here. I can see your comments, and you haven't said you can't hear me or you can't see me. So we're all good here, right? Fantastic. All right. I'm changing gears right now. You know, I've been over at Penny Boys all day. I'm over there every day, folks, trading with the public for absolute free. You can come in by using, well, if watch this show when it's done. There'll be a link down at the bottom. There's a link there to the Discord. If you haven't got a Discord, just give them an email, choose a username and password. You've got an account. They'll take you right to us. Look for Stock Wizards Momentum Chat Setup page. What a name. And that's where we're at, trading every single day from bell to bell, looking for momentum plays. Stocks already moving. I'm not the only one searching. There's lots of people searching. And thank God, because I'm doing due diligence for shows like this. I'm doing my own trading. So I'm not there all the time, but I'm there a lot all day. And today was a good day for me, so I'm in a good mood. So let's get this show going. Let's do some due diligence, folks. We're going to get you all snagged up here. I'm practicing. Let me warm up here. All right. Haven't got my buttons in the right place. Let me get those lined up here. And I do. There you are. I do have my notes. Yes, I do. First one coming in, no surprise, comes from Velmore. Velmore and Mark have been elbowing each other at the door each week. I like to see that. Velmore has brought us Ruby. Ruby, you didn't make any mention if we were after a warrant. I know you by now. Nope, no warrant here. So I guess we're only looking at Ruby. That's okay. Funny, I forget when you want me to, and I remember when you don't. That's a man for you. I said it. I said it. So Ruby, this is an international eco-tanker company working out of Greece. Big ships on the ocean. They have had 2 reverse stock splits already. One in December, which was a 1 in 30, and one today, which was just shy of a 1 in 8. For some reason, theirs is a 1 in 7.8. Strange. Super low float now, really low. It's below a million shares. I think we're at like 300,000 shares, and that's what it is right now at this very minute. So when you trade it tomorrow, that's all that's on the market is 300,000 shares. Steady revenues. Big public offering is coming. They're about ready to put more shares on the market because there is a minimum criteria for stocks on the major exchange. You have to have, it's either a 500,000 or 1.5 million in the float. The OS can be anything above that, but the float has to have a minimum. And with 300,000 in the outstanding, you know they've broken a rule. And the best way to fix that is just put more shares on the market. Plus, the company gets paid for every share they sell, so it's no big deal to them, right? And let's see, halted a few times today. That means it was hot. So let's take a look at Ruby now. Let's get some information. This is Rubico Incorporated. Finished today at $2.59. Wow, huge drop, 36%, which was $1.46. Huge drop. I'm sure that has to do with the reverse stock split. Very few stock splits jump after the split. Most of them fall, and then they'll find a floor, maybe, and climb from there. But most of them just keep on falling because everybody is so upset with losing their shares. This is a company, as I said, out of Greece. Let's get some information now. Let's just start on one side and work over so I don't skip anything and it keeps me sane. That's an important thing in this show. So we're looking at the relative volume for Ruby today. Now, I found this interesting. It doesn't give me anything over the last 30 days. So I did go look at the chart. I normally don't look at the charts for these tickers you guys give me. I figure we're going to look at them together, so they're going to be what they're going to be. But I need to find the information so I know where to look. Well, they've been on the market every single day. They've been on the market. So why they're not giving us an average over the last 30 days, I don't know. I could probably run over to Yahoo Finance and get it if it was that important to me. But as you can see today, look at this. On the major exchange, 417,000 shares today, less than 500,000. Not a lot of shares being sold. With the reverse stock split, you'd have thought there'd been a bigger dump, especially with 35%. There is our outstanding share count. They say it's 510. Maybe I've got it mixed up. There's been a lot of reverse stock splits. We're going to be looking at quite a few of those stocks today. So I may have got that confused. But in either case, we have a very super duper low float. When I say super duper, I mean less than 1 million shares, which is just unheard of, folks. You couldn't find these companies before COVID. Now they're a dime a freaking dozen. Don't matter what the float is. I don't know what the market cap is right now. You would normally take all of the outstanding shares and multiply it here, which would give us about 1.5 million or 1.2 million, something like that. I really don't use market caps. Financials for the company. Okay, we don't get nothing here. So I did jump over to Yahoo this time because financials are important. We're looking at the annuals here for Ruby. There you go, Ruby. 4 years ago, we were at 17 million. They do tell us we have to add 3 zeros to any of these numbers as well. From 17, we jumped to 24. And from that point, that's what we've been doing every year, 2022, 23, 24, and the trailing 12 months. From now back 12 months, they've done 24,000. So that seems to be their ceiling. That's what they're doing constantly and steadily. Let's see. Let's take a look at our news. All right, so we've got 2 reverse stock splits, as I said. One that happened in December. That was the 1 in 30. And then we had one that just happened today, 2 days ago. But it was enacted 1 and 7 and 8/10. What happened on February 12th, today. So we now have a super duper low float. And they're going to have to fix that. So these 424B3s are when they're about ready to put shares on the market. And they tell us here they're going to be putting 12.3 million units on the market. A unit is just a package deal. They tell us each unit is going to come with 1 share and 1 preferred pre-funded warrant and a regular warrant. So you've got 2 different types of warrants in here, and every single warrant can be exercised and become another share. That's what happens when you exercise rights, you change preferred shares into common stock, or you have warrants. They all become shares of common stock, and that increases the outstanding share count, increases the float, gives us shareholder dilution. So they tell us here they have up to 12.3 million common shares, 49 million pre-funded warrants, and 2.4 million Class A warrants, which has given us 49, 50, 60. You're looking at like close to 65 million more shares in the front door and the back door. And the back door can be anywhere from a few months down the road to 5 years down the road. You really don't know when that's going to happen. But we've got a lot of shares that are about ready to pour on the market. Now, 50 million isn't a lot of shares, but when you consider the share count right now is less than 500,000. If they were to do just 12 million, that would be increasing the share count by 24-fold. And the price gets bounced around when you start messing with the share structure like that. So she's going to have a lot of volatility right now, but at this very moment, we have got ourselves a super duper low float. So they're telling us they're going to be doing this. You'll know when it happens. There'll be a form here called effect. EFFECT, effect. When you see effect, that is the gun shooting. The race has started. The shares are on the market and being sold. But until you see effect, they're not there yet. So we have a super duper low float. Was there any other news there we needed to consider? Look at that. This has been happening to me all day. We were just here. You saw all the news that was there. Sometimes it's here. Sometimes it's not. That's not fair. So just to make sure I have my backup here, stocktitan.net. I love this site for news. Not only do they list the news, but they have AI read the news, give you a blurb about it, goes through all the information about the company and gives you a composite right here of everything it has found. Man, that can save you a lot of bloody time. Over here, you can get the amount of shares. They say they got 4 million shares right now. Now, I've always trusted this number. So maybe it's 4 million, but I'm thinking it's super duper low since they just had another reverse stock split today. Maybe this hasn't come into consideration. So let's see here. Rubico announces pricing of $4 million public offering. Well, there you go. So they just put $4 million worth of shares. Well, that was on the 9th, January. So those have been split. So this has not shown up here. So we do have a low float. Just wanted to verify that. And yeah, we did have one piece of news that came out here. It's not real recent, but it hasn't fully gone through its purpose yet. The company is buying some more tankers. They don't tell us how many here, but they do put an S on the end of it. So I'm presuming it's more than one. They expect delivery by the second quarter of 2027. It's going to cost them, well, they've already given them $4 million in advance payment for this. So it's going to be a while, but as I said, that is something that was just talked about. It hasn't happened yet, but that's all we really got going for Rubico. So let's go take a look now at the chart for Ruby. Yeah, I like that. You're following me. Okay, no, not in my monitor. We want my charts. Thank you. Cleaning up, folks. Cleaning up. God, what a mess. How can anyone read this stuff? I do. Ruby, I've been here before. All right, let's go back 1 year. Give ourselves a peek at the trend and our 52-week high and low. So is that looks like the whole chart. This goes back to August of 2025. So if this was not the full chart, it'd go back to January of 2025. So this came on the market August 4th, 2025. Either came on the market or they changed their ticker. One of the two, because you always get a new chart if you change your ticker. So we have a high back here. Can't trust that. Says it's $200. Well, they had a 1 in 30 reverse stock split, and they just had a 1 in, let's just call it 1 in 8. Well, 8 times 30 is 240. You've got to multiply the splits together, and then you've got to divide any of the numbers behind those splits because they multiply the entire chart by those splits rather than just giving us a simple green bar on that day, showing us the price going up and just moving along. No, they change all the numbers and they're going to stay wrong forever and ever. So we've got to take this $200 high and we've got to divide it by 240, which is going to be less than $1. That's what the math would do. God, I hate this. In any case, from this high, she has been at a downtrend the entire time. And we are now down here at a 52-week low of 51 cents, which we hit February 11th, yesterday. Oh, boy. And today, she's popping. We got one big green bar there. Oscillators have just warmed up with that green bar. Let's come on down to our 6-month, 4-hour view. Not a whole lot to see there. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Wow, not a lot to see there either. I'm going to get rid of all these lines because obviously they're not doing us any good anymore. We're way beyond those. We were flat as a pancake forever underneath that 200, not running away from it, but not running to it either. And then today, with that reverse stock split, she kicked the price up. We expect that. Now we've got a big green bar here. I expect that to be gone by tomorrow. Now that would make sense. That would make sense. The green bar is for the reverse stock split. I'm almost positive of that, which means our $200 would be divided only by 30, not by 240. That hasn't been calculated into it yet. So if we were divided by 30 into 200, you'd get yourself about $6.50. That sounds right. You come on the market at about $6. That sounds about right. So we were here at wow, at about 50 cents and went up to $6. We have pulled back, and right now we're sitting there at about $2.91. Now what I'm going to do is grab my Fibonacci, and I'm going to poke the top, and I'm going to poke the bottom, and I'm going to see if we are in the center there. Right there is dead center. So she is below the halfway point, which is the weak zone. Anything below the halfway point is the red zone. Chances are she'll want to fall till she hits the next strongest MA. And that's a long ways down here. So God, let's hope that doesn't happen. If she's above it, chances are she's going to climb. She's got to get up over top of that 50. Let's see what we've got on our 1 hour chart. So she took that climb, came down, and she's landed firmly on our 38% Fibonacci, which is a big deal, folks. The 38 Fibonacci is the one right up underneath the halfway point. I like to think of it as the launch platform. It's the closest one to the halfway point into the green zone. So you get excited when you're that close to it. So normally, if the price is sitting on top of the 38 firmly, it is excited to get to the 50% and will jump. And when it gets to the 50%, it's in the green zone now when it wants to climb. And then it continues climbing, and you get a nice run off of the 38, which is where she's sitting right now. All of our MAs are climbing, and it's sitting right on top of the 9, which is a little far from our 20. I don't like that. I expect it could come down to the 20 or at least halfway to it. Oscillators have all cooled off. They got warm, and everything is going sideways right now, just maintaining. Coming down to our 5-day, 15-minute. So as she came down, it took, well, she was on that 50. Look at this. She was on that 50 solid. And then she broke away. I don't know why. She didn't just come underneath the 9. She came underneath the 20, and she is still falling. I'm thinking she's going to hit our dynamic duo here, the 50-day MA and the 200 haul, which is blue when it's climbing. They normally rise together, and that's a solid support. That's two strong MAs, a 200 and a 50. That's 250. That's the strongest MA on the board if you think of it like that. In a lot of cases, if it just comes right through the 200, it will bounce off of this dynamic duo here. So we're going to watch for that, the collision and the ricochet. All of our oscillators are falling right now. Gentle, but they are falling right now and cooling off. That was actually our 5-day, 15-minute. There's our 5-day, 5-minute. She is falling right now. All of our MAs have rolled up over top of her head. I would expect her to fall down to the dynamic duo in the 5-day, 15-minute. Not all the way down here, but back here, right there at about, looks like it'll probably be around 222, 224, somewhere there. That's what I'd look for an entry. Get a bounce, 3 bars. I'd be into this as long as the volume's there. If you don't have volume, don't do squat. You need volume for any trade to be worth your while. All right, let's move on to the next one. I'm all ready. It's set to go. I can take some Java, though. God, I love that stuff. Okay, this is JDZG. Mark Ryan wanted this one. This was one that Velmore had chose, but I chose to do Ruby instead. And you know, the reason was JZDG didn't have any news, but it did. The OTC markets just came up blank because when Mark said he wanted it, I went and looked. There you go again. We got news. Now, whether it comes up for us or not, I don't know. But JZDG, we know where to find the news. What is it? JDZG. JDZG. This is Jayade Limited. Jia Limited is a Chinese one-stop shop for supportive educational digital services in China, of course. Super strong daily volume today, a very low float. That works well with strong volume. Growing revenues, and we've got some old news to consider. So taking a look at JDZG. As I said, she is from China. Finished today at $1.69, up 28%. Hot penny stock on the major exchange, which comes with benefits compared to those OTC penny stocks, which we haven't talked about yet. There's no transaction fees when you trade these. On the OTC, you normally have to pay for every transaction, every purchase, every sale. That cuts into your profits. You also get to trade these pre-market, aftermarket. You never, ever, ever get to do that with OTC. Some people do, marketers and brokers. You might see it moving, but you can't get into the game. You just have to watch it and suffer. And there's a lot more money, a lot more volume, and a lot more rules up on the major exchange. And all of that helps us as the investors. All that money, all that volume, that's what we're looking for as traders. And all those rules, well, they're for the companies. Keeps them honest, keeps our investments safe. So what is Jia about? As I said, they're a one-stop comprehensive educational support service to adult education institutions. They're working with AI and streaming and all that stuff right now. So again, let's start over on the left-hand side and work our way over. Oh my God, look at that volume. Shoot, and we got old news, not new news. God almighty. She's been doing 340,000 shares a day as an average over the last 30 days. There were days worse than that. That's just the average. Today, she did over 63 million shares. You're looking at about 180 times her normal volume. That's 18,000% increase in volume. Whoa, I better find a reason. Share structure for the company. Well, we've got a low float. Not that I know what it is, but our outstanding share count is about 3 million. Insiders going to own something. Subtract that from the outstanding. That gives you your float. I don't know what it is, but I know it can't be more than the outstanding. So it won't be any higher than 3 million and could be considerably less depending on how many shares the insiders own. So no matter how you slice this cake, we got ourselves a juicy piece. Market cap for the company, we're at about 4 million. Financials, is they making any money? Yes, and it's been increasing every year over the last 4 years. 4 years ago, we were at 750,000. At the end of 2024, we're at about 2.5 million. Profits have been increasing, except for this last year, we did drop from 2 million down to 1.8 million. But things are looking good. Things have been improving. Taking a look at the quarterlies, we get a couple quarterlies here. I'm not too worried about them. What the heck? These are wrong years. Don't normally get them for international stocks anyways. Looking at the balance sheet and remembering those 3 zeros, we got about $500,000 in the bank. We've got 11 million in assets, about 1.3 in liabilities. So we have got strong stockholder equity of 9.7 million. That is all for us. Disclosures. Got anything over here to consider? Effect right there. That means they just put some shares on the market. Now, it doesn't say that. That's all it says. And if you open it up, you'd have no clue what this even means. Well, that's all it is. It's just telling you the shares are on the market. There's a 42.4B1. Wonder if that's it. There you go. Up to 20 million Class A ordinary shares going on the market. Now, it's funny. In a lot of cases, because it is shareholder dilution, the stock falls. When they start flooding the market with new shares, it falls. But in a lot of cases, and I was looking at 2 stocks today, they had public offerings and the stock was just ripping. It was taking off and going to the moon. And that's how some of these companies can do $9 million worth of shares in one day. Company made $9 million overnight. Unbelievable. So here we got 20 million shares that have already been put on the market because we see the effect right there. That was back on the 14th. So chances are it's closed. Normally, you'll get a news press that tells you they closed the public offering. Maybe we'll see something there. Outside of that, we don't have any filings over here. Taking a look at the news, we got one piece of news all the way back in January. So we got no catalyst today. We got no filings. We got no news. Now, If there is news and it's coming up, I'm going to get the most recent news. So it's not like I have to run over to Stock Titan to see if there's more recent news. No, I know that's the most recent. They don't do that to me. It's either blank or it's just not a lot. Well, this came out a month ago. Jade Limited enters strategic cooperation with South Korea Education Group, launching its global market strategy. Let's see if we can I didn't have this piece of news. I think it was over at Stock Titan when I was looking at it. Working in the People's Republic of China from grades K, from kindergarten to 12th grade, adult learning. They're also going to be teaching science, technology, engineering, arts, math, all sorts of things. They're going to open up the door big time. And as I said, they're using a lot of new technologies that are on the market. Matter of fact, there are a lot of companies in China that are now working with education, AI, streaming, three-dimensional characters, all sorts of things right now. So this is just one more of those companies. So that covers everything. We don't have a catalyst. And yet this thing was up 28% today. I don't know why. Lots and lots of volume for no reason. Let's go take a look at this chart. Well, I've looked at it before. Got lots of lines here. Going back a year. Okay, we'll get rid of those lines so that we can make sense of what we're looking at here. And if I remember, I'll toss them back up. If I don't do it now, I got to do it all over again, one by one. The yellow ones are all manual. So we've got a downtrend going here. Didn't read of any reverse stock splits. Didn't see any mention of it anywhere. We've got a high a year ago of $6.40. Steady downtrend to a 52-week low of 73 cents. Right now, we are in a 200 squeeze, and she popped already. We have a rising 200 haul and a falling 200 MA. Price is in the middle. When the price is on top of the 50, it's ready to launch. When that 200 haul is pushing up, that is a lit match. When the price gets on top of the 50, it's a keg of powder. It's ready to go, and it took off just like that, jumping from $1.25 up to $2.50. That's 100% run to and through the 200. And when it gets through the 200, sell. When you find these setups and you're ready for that breakout and it goes to and through, sell on the other side. There's a 9 out of 10 chance she's going to come back down to the 200 at least, if not the next MA underneath it. And if she's got volume there, she'll regather and then bounce. And you can get back in and take a second run. But if you think she's going to just keep going, 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, maybe it'll happen. So just do it the other way and you'll do much better. I promise you. Lots of volume today, right? All of our oscillators are on fire. Every single one is hot on our yearly chart. Looking at our 6-month, 4-hour, 6 months ago, we were at $4.64, tagging a falling 200. Broke through it here, was up over it for a few days, keeps breaking through it. I like to see that. That means when it gets an opportunity, wow, to break out, it's going to do it. Now, this is just about flat. It isn't flat yet, but it took the breakout. It went here from $1.80 up to $3.70. That's another 100% run. And over about 3-4 days, she came right back down to where she started from. She then dipped down to that 52-week low, and off of that low, she has been getting strong. She has pushed herself up over top of the 200, dipped back to it, and right now she's ripping, and she's starting to look strong. All of our oscillators, every single one of them are pushing up and looking very strong. Lots of volume in the picture today. Look at this. Lots of volume on that run, lots of volume on this run. The volume didn't last, though. Is it going to last this time? The other thing I noticed is that our 200 is trying to stay flat right now, which is real important. A flat or rising 200 normally means your stock is going to start rising as well. Taking a look at our 20-day 1 hour. So our high and low are right next to each other here. Our low of $1.02 and a high of $2.53. 250% jump there, right? So she's climbing. She's on top of the 200. She took a dip here, like a crouch. Now, this is what I'm saying. She is floating over top of this 200. She tagged it a few times, but she's just minding her own business. Now, you can see the MAs are starting to roll here, so we expect this. But because everything is rising, 200 especially, I expect this dip to be nothing more than a crouch, like a cat does before it jumps. So I would watch this. And as she got down here, I'd look for a bounce up, and she bounced up pretty bloody quick. Once she got up on top of this 50, she was off and running. There's our 200 haul turning up right there. And this is when the breakout is happening right there. Back on top of our 9-day, floating on that 9-day, getting some big rips and coming right back down to the 9. I'm liking that. All of our MAs are pushing up to that 200, getting the golden cross ready to happen right now with our 20. All of our oscillators are climbing here as well. 1 hour chart looks dynamic. Looking at our 5-day, 5-minute chart. So there's our low. Off of that low, she has been climbing strong, as I said, from $1.02 up to $2.53. Back down to that rising 200. She's tapping it like she was doing it before, and she is pushing up. Looks like she wants to start climbing again. Now, she has some big, strong bounces, so I don't expect a rip and a climb. I expect a climb and then a rip and then a fall. That's what you kind of get here. A climb, a rip, a fall. So there's going to be some volatility in here, but the dead giveaway is the volume. Whenever the volume comes in, this thing takes off because we've got ourselves a low float, whatever it may be, right? So this isn't looking bad. I'd be putting JDZG on my watch list. Matter of fact, I could do that. Oh, I don't have a special watch list set up, right? I have to do that later. Okay. What you guys tooking about over here? Let me see. Wall Street Warlord. Been a long time since you and I have talked. Couple years, my friend. It's good to see you, in a matter of speaking. Thanks for the kind words. Oh, what's this? BBAI long term. Thank you, sir. BBAI is taken off. She's gotten very hot. She used to be a stock we could talk about, but she ain't no penny stock anymore. And there's a lot of AI companies out there, right? And the AI is still expanding into a lot of new areas. We really don't know all that AI is going to do. And a lot of what AI is doing now could be made obsolete by tomorrow. We just don't know. But BBAI, in my opinion right now, and I don't know a lot about it, I haven't done a deep dive, is looking very strong. She's one of the stocks that I do have on my list of AI stocks. There's a lot of them out there, and a lot of them I just don't have on the list because they don't matter yet. BBAI matters. And it looks like I got all the conversation out of the way. I'll just take another cuppa here if you don't mind. And a bit of nicotine. It goes a long ways. All right. We are now going to take a look at Kashera's ticker NCI. NCI. This is Neo Concept International Group Holdings Limited. Too many words. This is Neo Concept. Neo Concept is a one-stop apparel solutions company in Hong Kong. They like their one-stop shops, don't they? Another company with very strong daily volume, a low float. Only news. What the hell did I say? Only news. I don't know. I gave myself a note here, and I don't know what the hell I'm telling myself. 8.1 public. Oh, okay. The only news we got is that they've got a public offering. They're putting $8.1 million worth of shares on the market. And what's this? $2, 8.1 million. Looking at roughly 4 million shares, I'm presuming. So NCI, Neo Concept, is a company out of China. Finished today at $2.18. Fell $17.42. $17. 17.4%. She dropped 46 cents today. This is a cool penny stock on the major exchange. She's on the NASDAQ. So the company offers a suite of services in the apparel supply chain, including market trend analysis, product design and development, raw material sourcing, production, quality control, and logistics management. It sells knitwear, apparel products under the Less 100 Sells brand. The company serves brand owners, apparel sourcing agents, and online fashion retailers primarily located in North America, the United Kingdom, and Europe. So taking a look at the relative volume for the company, she's kicking. Wow. Over the last 30 days, she hasn't even been over 100,000 shares. 40,000 shares. And again, I remind you, this is an average. So she's had days a lot lower than that. And today, she's jumping. We're at 9.3 million shares, making herself respectable on the exchange. Taking a look at the share structure. How many shares are we moving? Well, we got 4 million outstanding. Insiders most likely own something. Subtract that. That's our float. We've got ourselves a low float. Regardless how many shares the insiders own, it can't be any more than 4 million. Anything under 10 million is a low float. And today we did about 9 million shares. So that means every share had to sell at least twice today. We like to see that too. Market cap, we're at about 10.7 million. Financials, are they making money? Yes, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Basically, they're back where they were 4 years ago, from 30 million up to 44, back down to 30 million. Except there's a huge difference. 4 years ago with that 30 million, they only made about 3 million profit. This time on that 30 million revenue, they doubled that, more than doubled it at 6.3 million. So the profit margin has gone way up for the company. Quarterlies, we don't get them with these international companies, but we do get balance sheets. Looking at the cash and cash equivalents, what I call the bank, we got $1.1 million. Total assets for the company, 17.5 million. Total liabilities is less, 10.1. So we're holding stockholder equity here of 7.3 million, not holding a bag. Taking a look at the news. NCI, no news? Well, I don't know. Is there any news? Let's go check the backup. Just because it's blank don't mean I need to trust it. Look at that. News yesterday. Neo Concept International just closed their $8.1 million public offering, and they did it 2 days ago. So there you go. Like I said, in one day, this company made $8.1 million, and every dollar is theirs to do whatever the heck they want with. They could go on vacation with it if they wanted to. You think I'm lying? There's a lot of companies on the OTC that do that exactly. And then the most recent piece past that goes all the way back to November, which is just their financials. And looking at their filings over here, discounted, and see, I see nothing. I don't see any catalyst whatsoever anywhere. We have no news. We have no filings. We have no reason for this stock to be moving. So I'm not quite sure what we think is going on here. Maybe I'm missing something. You know, we didn't check Twitter. It's always a good place to check because it's the unofficial board. People post things there that you can't be held truly liable for as long as you don't say too much. So there could have been something over there. So with that said, let's go take a look at the chart for NCI. Click. Hold on. Let's see if I can get my lines back. Did I take them away? Oh, I'm already there. I'm away. I missed it. Doggone it. All right, going back a year. Like to see my trend and the high and low bubbles. I got a line there, huh? I'm going to take that off right now. I can see it meant something to me. I was crossing the top of this, and, well, I don't see how I could have drawn that unless I did it just the other day. She broke out when she got over that line, though. I'll tell you that much. That line wasn't there for absolutely nothing. So we're looking at a yearly chart. Wow, look at that. Our 52-week high and low are here in the last 3 days. Wow. So before that, our high was here at $3.41 a year ago. Just got over the 200, but wasn't trying to break out. Was just poking her head up, getting some fresh air. Came back down under the water and has been falling all the way down to our 52-week low of 72 cents, which we hit just a few days ago. And off of that, she ripped up to $3.41. You're looking at 4.5, 450% run right there. Wham! Why? Why did she run like that? Did we miss something? I got to check Twitter. Oscillators are on fire. There has been a pullback, but there's still so much heat in these oscillators. Lots of volume in the picture today. Taking a look at our 6-month, 4-hour view. There you go. Top of this one, top of that one, top of that one, and it was just hanging out here. It was just hanging there. I didn't have it on top of anything. It was just, well, look at this. I bet there's going to be another pop up to that line. That's why I draw these trend lines. And boom, she hit and I missed it. I wasn't watching. That's why we put these things on our watch list. So on our 4-hour chart, we got a high of $3.47 down to that low of, now it says it's 62 cents. Funny how it does that, right? And she did still hit that high of $3.40. So now it looks like even a bigger rip. She's come all the way down to her 9-day MA, and she is floating on it. Big jumps, little jumps, small dips. She is staying above the 9-day and floating. This is on our 4-hour chart. Everything is looking good. All of our MAs here are climbing. Everything is right up underneath the 200, just about ready to cross it. That's what you need. Everything to cross and get on the right side. The smallest MAs on the top, the biggest MA down at the bottom. We have now gotten out from underneath the water, up on top of the surface in the air. We're ready to fly. All of our oscillators are launching right now. They're all starting to take off and catch air. Coming down to our 20-day, 1-hour view. She was going sideways, just hanging on to that 200, did a crouch, right, when she's minding her own business for a long time, and then takes a sudden drop to a low bubble. In a lot of cases, it's simply a crouch, getting ready to jump. This came down. It took a whole day before it came back up, but it was worth the wait. We went from 62 cents up to $3.41. Back down to our 20, which she has dipped underneath that, and now she is starting to climb, floating on our 9-day MA. All of our MAs are over the 200. 200 is turned up and climbing, looking good. We had lots of volume yesterday, not a lot of volume today, and still she was climbing strong. I would put this on my watch list just because with that little amount of volume and pushing up, all of our oscillators are strong except our RSI. That one red bar there has pulled it back. Take a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. So there's our dip. 24 hours later, our rip back down to the 200 now. Right here, it's flat. Here, it's falling. Right there, it's flat. That's when she broke out on a flat 200. She's now falling down to a rising 200. All of our MAs have turned back up. They were falling. They're coming back up. All of our current, every single one of these MAs has a current. The bigger the number, the stronger the current. But when all of them are going the same direction, your stream, your river, everything is going the same direction, you have a strong current. Where's the Dixie cup going to go when you throw it on there? With the current. Everything is going that way. The price looks like it's just going to keep on going. It's just tagging on to the 20, which is what it does, and then it starts to climb. This is looking really nice to me. Oscillators, they're a little cool because of the aftermarket period, but still, I like the way she's acting right now. I like the way everything is lined up. NCI, no reason for her to have volume, no reason for her to be running, and yet she is. And to be honest, that's all I care about. I don't care if she has news. I don't care if she has filings. What I care about is, does she have volume and are her technicals strong? If she is going in the right direction, what's it matter what the news is? It could be bad news. Are you not going to get into it? It's climbing, but it's bad news. I don't care. And that's why I normally don't read the news. One, I normally don't have time when I'm scalping a stock. I see it moving, I just get into it. I don't care why it's moving, and I don't care if it's doing contradictory to what it should be doing. I'm going to get my money one way or the other. Ignorance can be truly blissful. Okay, that takes care of NCI. I said that takes care of NCI. Thank you very much. No new comments. Come on now, folks. I want you to talk to each other. I want you to share some tickers with each other. When you share them with each other, you're sharing them with everybody who sees this video, because all these comments come up with the video too. So if you've got a stock that you want people into, talk about it. Get some conversation over there. All right, let's jump into another stock. It is 444. I missed my 420. I'll have to catch up on that later. We are now going to take a look at MBOT. This comes from Smoltz Trades. MBOT is Microbot Medical. I'm quite familiar with this company, MBOT. This company makes medical devices. No revenues, but we're not holding a bag. They do have strong shareholder value, and they have news today, but we can find it in the filings. So let's just jump into that. So the company MBOT Microbot is based here in the United States. Yay, not China. They finished today at $2.09, up 4.5%, jumping 9 cents. Another hot penny stock on the major exchange on the NASDAQ. Now, this company is primarily known for a particular product called the Liberty Endovascular Robotic System. I could actually show you a picture of this. What it is used for is for getting into your arteries, working around your heart, working around your throat. There's a lot of things it does. I don't know all of it, but I did want to show you a picture. And it works kind of like a game. You've got a controller in your hand. Get out of there. This is it, and you pipe a piece of metal through this side, and it comes through the other side, and this controller is controlling the metal, and it goes into a vein wherever it's going into, and they can, I don't know, work with blood clots or whatever the heck it is they're doing. I don't know, but this is the machine they're using, and it's catching a lot of attention right now. Looking at the news, since this is where we're at, they had news come out today. The company's Liberty Endovascular Robotic System is highlighted at a leading vascular disease management conference. And then we had news just about a week ago. The company to leverage its current user experience of this device at key oncology conferences to support commercial adoption. So they've had a few hospitals using this. You know, you want doctors to use it, give their opinion on it, how well it works. You want the patients to tell you how well it works, you know, and it seems to be doing really well. So that's the news right now. They are just getting the word out there, and they're being highlighted for this device. We don't see anything about mergers or money coming in or anything like that. Micromedical announces Emory University Hospital is the first hospital in the world to adopt the new Liberty Endovascular Robotic System. That was back in November. I don't know if they've had any other hospitals using it since then. We would have to do a deep dive. So what was the relative volume around MBOT today? Doing about twice what she's been averaging over the last 30 days at 1.8. Today we're at 3.7 million. Share structure for MBOT. We are currently at about 67 million outstanding with no clue what the insiders own. So we have no clue what the float is, except it can't be any more than the outstanding share counting. Could be considerably less depending how many shares the insiders own. Market cap, we're at 134 million. Is this company making any money? Not a penny, not annually, not quarterly, but they've got a balance sheet. That tells us a lot. In the bank, they've got $6.7 million. Total assets, $81 million. Total liabilities, look at that, folks, $3.5 million. That gives us total stockholder equity of $78 million. Folks, they ain't even making any money, and we've already got $78 million of stockholder equity backing up our shares. That ain't holding a bag by any means. Looking at our disclosures, we got nothing here. Really? You know what? I'm going to take a quick glance over here because I ain't buying that. Any stock on the major exchange has to have some filings. You've just got to. 67 million shares, it says we got there. Yeah, see? And I was over here. You can see I already highlighted it there. All right, February 12th, Micromedical features. Yeah, we've seen that. We've seen that disclose 8.2% stake via warrants. We do have somebody invested 8.2% in the company through warrant purchases. Warrants are free money for the company. I mean, they sell a warrant. It's nothing. It's not even a share yet, right? So they sell it for whatever, let's say 50 cents. And then 2 years down the road, it allows you to buy a share at a cheap price. The share may be up to $30 and the warrant says you can buy it for $2. Well, the company already got 50 cents for the warrant. Now they're going to get $2 for a share that costs $30, and it doesn't hurt the company at all. And a brand new share is created that costs $2, but is worth $30. So when you have warrants, you can buy shares that are way more expensive than what you're paying for. And that's how Warren Buffett makes billions of dollars. When he invests millions of dollars in the front door, he wants $1 billion worth of warrants in the back door because he knows his investment is going to help that company to grow. And he's going to buy a whole bunch more shares in the back door for cheap and get that instant profit just like that. And the truth of the matter is you're not buying shares. They just put the money right into your account. You don't even get the shares. You just get the money, which is all you really wanted anyways. So that takes care of MBOT. No more to be seen. I do believe we covered everything from side to side. So let us go take a look at the chart. MBOT, a ticker you can't forget. Easy to remember. Going back a year. Ooh, got ourselves a mountain. Jack and Joe went up the hill and fell down the other side. So we got a 52-week low about a year ago of $1.25. Off of that low, she climbed, hitting a high of $4.67 in September. That was our 52-week high, and once we hit it, that was the end of that story. She went back into a tailspin, coming straight down to and through that 200-day MA, falling down here to a low of $1.69. Off of that low, she jumped up and tried to hang on here, and she is suffering right here. She will not get over this 200 haul. Now, I told you the 200 haul and the 200 MA have the same amount of authority, the same amount of strength. And yes, the 200 haul is a friend to the price if the price is over top of the 200 haul, not underneath it. Underneath it, it's like a parent slapping it all the time. And look at this. Bam, 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 bam. That 200 haul will not let it go over. And if you don't have this on your chart, you're wondering, what the hell is holding this from climbing? There it is, the 200 haul. Then she slipped underneath our 9-day, came all the way down here to that low of $1.58. Off of that low, she bounced immediately from $1.58 up to $2.26. She has put herself on top of the 20, just up underneath the 50-day MA. Here's our 200 haul, still falling. There's our 200 MA. It's kind of flat. So this is setting up for a 200 squeeze right now. Get that price on top of the 50. Get that 200 haul to turn up. That's a flame to the powder keg. Boom! To and through the 200. 50 is at $2.10. Our 200 is at $2.60. So that would give you about a 50-cent jump, whatever percentage that is. Taking a look at our 6-month 4-hour view. Got that big rip and that fall down, and let's see what we're looking like right now. Now I've got my Fibonacci there. We can pull that down. That tells me I was trading it, or at least somebody was. When I'm over there at Penny Boys every day, one of the things I do is to put up the supports and resistances on the chart so that people know where to get in and get out. And I do that for stocks I'm not trading, but they are, and they put pictures up. So this was probably for them because I have not invested in MBOT. So once we hit that low here, now it says it's $1.47. It just keeps getting lower and lower. Off of this low, she bounced immediately. She jumped back up, but not just back up, she started to climb, which tells me there's value in the company. Duh, she isn't making any money. She's got no profits on the table, and yet we've got over $70 million in stockholder equity, shareholder value. So when this low bubble came on the board, a lot of people came into it, and she has pushed from $1.47 up to $2.40. She's come down to the 200, which she's been under for a long time. She's come back up, and our 200 is just now going flat. We are pushing through it with some strong power, floating on our 9-day MA. This is looking picture perfect. I'm really liking this. All of our MAs are climbing, pushing towards that flattening 200 with our price still over top of the 200. Looking great. Oscillators. All of them are looking strong. There's a little bit of pullback weakness there, but nothing that concerns me. Coming down to our 20-day 1-hour view. Downhill trend. Boom. Hit that low bubble. Shot up to that high bubble. Back down to the 200. Right here. Take a look, folks. 200's falling. Where is it flat? Right here. Right here is where it went flat. And where did it really break out? Right there. Right over top of the flat. Come down to our 200, thereabouts. And if the 200 is pulling up, you'll normally get everything to pull up. This looks like it's ready to continue going, folks. Our oscillators, they're showing strength. Not a lot of heat, but they're not cold by any means. 3 days ago, we had lots of volume. Yesterday, we had some volume. Today, the volume was strong, but it looks to be getting weak right now. So I'd keep my eye on MBOT. She isn't running for any big catalyst, except that she's getting a lot of attention right now. And she's got value. You know, as long as she has stockholder equity, I like the company. I prefer them to be making revenues. But as long as you're holding stockholder equity for me, that's okay by me. There you go, folks. MBOT. I do believe that covers all the stocks I had. Yes, it does. So I am ready now to come get one of yours. Let's see what we got here. There you go. Talking about stocks. You're a good girl, Valmore. Warrants and Buffett. Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. All right, let's see here. I do believe MOD, HXX. So we've got those two from the underdog. Good to see you, my friend. And then we've got MOD coming from Ring the Bell. Well, you know, it's only 456. I bet we can get two of these in. So HXHX or Works. I do believe I put up lines for Works today. So I'm going to go with Works, and then we'll take a look at MOD as well. So jump on over here to Works, WORX. Works, SC Works. Let's get over to our company profile and see what information we can dig up here. So this is a company based in the United States, Massachusetts. Finished today at 25 cents roughly, up 36%, jumping almost 7 cents. Another hot penny stock on the major exchange. It's on the NASDAQ. So what's this company about? Well, they tell us here that the company develops and markets healthcare information technology solutions related to services to improve healthcare processes and information flows within hospitals and other healthcare facilities in the United States. Now, take a quick look at their website. Sometimes a picture's worth 1,000 words. Basically, they're just saying the same thing there, that they help hospitals with all of their administration work and stuff like that. That's it. We don't have a whole lot of information here. Yeah, there you go. So basically, they are helping your hospitals with their administration work and workflow and all that stuff that nobody wants to do. And maybe they're using AI. I don't know. I don't see the word AI listed anywhere here. And that's what is jumping into the picture now. There's a lot of companies that are using AI to do payroll. I mean, from start to finish, nobody ever gets involved with payroll. It is all covered by AI from start to finish. I mean, that job was gone just like that. So let's see what we've got here for relative volume for the company today. She's hot. She exploded, jumping from 8.3 million as an average over the last 30 days to 305 million today. I hope we find a catalyst. Share structure for Works. We've got a low float. 15.8 million is the outstanding share count. I'm going to presume this is right because the dates are all right over here. They've got 200,000 shares, the insiders do. What? At 25 cents a share, you've only got 200,000 shares for all of you? Come on. So we get all the rest. It isn't bad. 15.6 million shares. Still basically a low float as far as I'm concerned. Market cap, we're at about 3 million. Works. You making any money? Not as much as we were. 4 years ago, they were at 4.6 and have been falling. And at the end of 24, they were at 2.9, dropping from 4.6 to 2.9. Looking at our quarterlies, they're maintaining. They're just averaging right around $700,000 every 3 months, and they're bringing home a variety of profits, anything from $132,000 up to $251,000. Balance sheet for Works, we got about $680,000 in the bank, $7.1 million in assets, $1.1 million in liabilities. No bag here. We are again holding stockholder equity of $6 million. Taking a look at the news for the company. Well, that's old. That's 2020, so that isn't going to help us. I will go check Stock Titan here in a minute, but let's check our disclosures first. Well, we know what that effect is, right? Yep, they just put shares on the market. Now, they don't always have to do a 423, whatever it was, B. It could be an 8K, so I'm not sure which one it's going to be. Maybe an S1. S1, there we go. So they are putting, oh my God, a lot of shares on the market. Let's see. It is 53 million shares of common stock they are putting on the market. Now you see this up here in red? That means it has not been done yet. When you see it in red, it's like a practice. I don't know. They put the filings out more than once. You'll see this 2 or 3 times. But as long as this is red up here, it hasn't happened yet. But once you see the effect, it has happened. So this has happened. Now, what I'm looking for here is to see if these are new shares or if they're reselling them for some big insiders. The prospectus relates to the resale or other disposition from time to time of an aggregate of 53 million shares of our common stock by selling stockholders identified for this prospectus. So it sounds like we've got some shares that are being resold and some shares that are new, but I can't see the numbers. And no, I don't see anything. So I would just expect the worst here. I would just expect 53 million shares to be being added on to 15 million. Now think about that. 15 million goes into 53 3 times. Average. Could be a little higher, 3.5. So that means our stock price should fall down to 1/3 because there are now that many more shares. The value of the stock is worth less. So this is happening right now. Now, when did that effect happen? On the 20th. So this could already be done. Matter of fact, no, that's not what I wanted. Matter of fact, we wanted to see if there was any news. The news didn't come up here, right? So I'm going to go check out Stock Titan, see if we got any news over there. Got to have backups, don't you? I love my redundancies. I don't have just 2 of something. I have 3. I love my redundancies. All right, let's see. December 17th was the last piece of news. SC Works announces new academic hospital customer. SC Works continues to expand healthcare data management network with a new partnership and granted a 180-day extension to meet the NASDAQ minimum price. Right. So there was something. See, we kind of overlooked that. So let me jump back here. What is that date? They've got 180 days to get the price back up over $1. On the major exchange, if you fall under $1 and stay under $1 for too long, you get a warning letter and you're told you have to get it up over $1 for 10 consecutive days. It must close over $1. You can dip under $1 during that time, but you have to close over $1. Once you do that, you're out of hot water. But that's not for the company to do. That's for us to do. We're the investors. The company can't do squat about the price of the stock. So they have a deadline of April 6th, 2026 to get the price up over $1. If they don't do it, if we don't do it, they've only got one of 2 choices. Either do a reverse stock split to kick the price up, which means they're going to take more shares away from us, shareholder dilution in a big way as far as I'm concerned, or they're going to just fall down to the OTC, and that's going to make the price fall hard. And not only does the price fall hard, but that's a whole different market. The OTC isn't getting the volume the NASDAQ gets. The people who have money, they're not trading OTC stocks. That's why they're up on the NASDAQ. So if a stock falls off the NASDAQ down to the OTC, it's a slow death sentence. I mean, you're struggling down there, folks. It really has been hard. So now we know that as well. But as day traders, we're getting in, we're getting out. I'm not going to be here till April, so I'm not real worried about that. But if you're in it, you may want to know that. And that was all the news we had, all the disclosures. We've covered everything here. So let us go take a look at the chart. Working it, baby. Jumping back to a year. All right, I wish I'd remember to put these bloody things back up. All right, we're looking at Works, 1 day, 1 year chart. Did they have a reverse stock split? We look at so many of these. I can't remember. I don't think they had a reverse stock split. Price doesn't look like it, so I think we're safe. Year ago, we have a high of $1.45. Nah, no reverse stock split here. She was just tagging the 200, minding her own business, though. Fell, tagged the 200 again. We got some nice jumps and bumps here as she's fallen. Here's another 200 piercing. We like to see that. Here, as our 200 is starting to go flat, we've had another piercing. This is an opportunity. When you see the stock piercing the 200, it means it's looking for an opportunity to get on top of it and start to run. It wants to get out of the water and into the air and dry off. Well, once the stock, the 200-day MA goes flat, that's the opportunity. That's the open door, and it's going there right now. We got volume in the picture. All of our oscillators are turned up and starting to push up strong right now. Taking a look at our 6-month, 4-hour view. I'm going to grab a channel line here. I'm going to see if anything is laying up. All right. I was just laying that across the top of these. We've got lots of them there to see if she breaks out when it got close. Man, look, as soon as she hit the bottom here, that's when it broke. I mean, God, I love these trend lines. And one of the things I do, folks, when I'm trading stocks, especially a stock that has a lot of liquidity, it's just constantly moving like the SPY or the Russell. After an hour of trading in the beginning of the day, you can get a trend line from pre-market to that point, and the trend line will run all day. Now, you can get 2 or 3 trend lines, but those trend lines will be live all day long, and it is amazing how the price will return to the trend lines. And this one here was just showing us when it was ready for a breakout. Man, oh man, once she got down to the floor here with the 200, that was it. She took off and ripped. I'm going to get rid of that. So we've got a 52-week low here of 15.5 cents. Off of that, she has pushed herself up, and we were in a 200 squeeze. That is beautiful. All right, back it up to give you a little perspective. All right, see here, my 200 changes colors. It's blue when it's rising. It's purple when it's falling. Right there. That bar right there is when it changed colors. It just got on the 50. The bar before, the 200 was still purple. The 200 turned blue when the price was on the 50. Ignition to and through the 200. She pulls back to the 200 and continues running again. So you would have sold when she broke out. She'd have come back, hit that 200. You'd have seen a couple green bars. You'd have been back in and taken another gain right here. She ran here from her initial breakout of 18 cents. Oh, wow. All the way up to 36 cents. That's 100% run right there. Now, that was from yesterday through aftermarket, pre-market, and the bell. That's an amazing run, folks. She has come back down, and she is floating over top of the 9. Now, she could come back down to the 9, but it doesn't look like she wants to come under it. She looks very content to be floating over the 9 with all of our MAs crossing the 200. Lots of volume today. Let's hope for that tomorrow. All of our oscillators are climbing. Everything's looking hot, looking good. Coming down to our 20-day 1-hour view. So there was our initial pop underneath the 200. She went from 18 cents to 31 cents. Back down to the 200, dipped down to the 15 and took off to 36. She's come back down to our 9-day. Now she's wrestling right now. We got a lot of wicks coming through, but a lot of these solid bars are hanging on to that 9. Doesn't want to come down. What it looks to me like it's doing is hanging on for dear life until this 20 can come up high enough and it can just get its toes on that 20 and push off of that 20. That's all it's looking to do right now. Everything else is churning and turning up, looking strong. Lots of volume. Oscillators are weak. They're all pulling back right now. But we've had lots of strength for a 24-hour period here. She's weakened down, but I'm thinking she's got more to give. I'd be keeping this on my watch list. So far, so good. There's your 5-day, 5-minute. She got up on top of that 200, and that's become her new home. She's bouncing off of it beautifully, taking a big gain right there at the bell. Now, this is beautiful. She was taking gains, and I would normally get out of a stock pre-market if it's running up just before the bell. If it's climbing, I'm getting out because as soon as that bell rings, 9 out of 10 times, profit takers step in because they remember the price being down here. Now it's up here, and they don't care why it's high. They just sell. But if it's running and pulls back before the bell, normally you'll get a run at the bell. This told you there was interest. So when it comes back down, the people who knew what was hot here, these people who now come into the game, learn what they already knew, and it takes off. And we had a nice run there right off of the 200. She went from 20 cents up to 36, and she's back down to the 200. Don't worry about that. That was a controlled fall, landed right where she needs to. She is putting herself back on top of the 50, and she is actually in a 200 squeeze. It's just inversed. We got the 200 haul, the 200 MA, both coming together. It's a 200 squeeze. Price is in the middle on top of the 50. It's the same thing. It does the same thing. This can take off right now from this point. I'm liking this. Works is looking good. Another one that I need to put on my watch list, and so do you. And the last stock we wanted to take a look at was MOD. Let me see here. Yes. All right, we're going to go look at MOD now. That sounds familiar to me. Well, after trading stocks for 7-8 years, yeah, it probably does. Another medical company. My favorites. I love medical companies. I mean, they're good for money. I just hate reading them. They've got words I can't pronounce and they do things I can't explain. So I don't like looking stupid. Modular Medical, ticker MODD, based here in the United States in California. Finished today at 44.5 cents, falling 1.8%, dropping almost a penny. This is a penny stock on the major exchange on the NASDAQ. So Modular Medical is a development stage diabetes technology company based in California, working from an innovative set of patented technologies. We like patents. Patents are good. Modular seeks to expand access to innovative diabetes technologies to the heretofore neglected majority of the diabetes market who have been poorly served by the existing options. You got anything else here you can tell us that gets straight to the point? No. All right, let's take a quick look at the site, see if they give us any more information. The Mod 1 is for those who want an insulin pump that removes complicated technology and allows for a smooth transition from manual injections, designed with simplicity in mind. Oh, I see. You see how that's working, right? I think it's ugly. I mean, who wants to run around with things hooked to their body like that? But that's what they got. The Mod 1 put you in control of your diabetes. So what was the relative volume around MOD today? Not real good. It dropped from a meager 229,000 shares over the last 30 days on a major exchange. Shame on you. Down to 143,000 today. Do you have this stock in your portfolio? Is that why we're looking at mod? I want to let you know. I call myself a wizard, but I'm not a wizard. I know it's the Santa Claus thing. I'm sorry. So there's no way I'm going to find light at the end of this tunnel if it's not already there. Just letting you know. So what was the share structure for the company? Well, we got about 77 million outstanding. Insiders own a respectable 5.3 million. We get the rest, 72 million. It's not a low float, but we're not going to cry about it. It's under 100 million. Anything under 100 million is respectable. They're not trying to take us. Market cap, we're at about 35 million. Financials, they making money? What? Not a penny in 4 years. Not a penny over the last year. But we got money in the bank, thank God. We got $5.3 million in the bank. Company is currently worth 12.9 million in assets with liabilities at 4.2 million. Yay! We aren't holding a bag. 8.7 million in stockholder equity. You got to appreciate a company that gives shareholder equity even though they haven't got any revenues, right? That's decent. Taking a look at the news for mod. Wow. The news up here is normally current. The news down here is normally old and other companies like them. This is all old news. I'm going to run over here to Stock Titan. Let's see if we can come up with any news for mod. Bump, ba-da-da-dum, bump, bump. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, anything else I can learn here about mod? Affordable patch pumps. Nope, that's what we get. 8 days ago, the company achieves key manufacturing milestone for pivot tubeless insulin patch pump. And in December, the company receives a 180-day extension. Uh-oh. Right, we are under. Okay, let's, excuse me, I don't want you. I want you. Let's see what our date is here. They've been under $1 for too long. They have until June 29th, 2026 to get the price up over $1, right? Over $1 for 10 consecutive days. They're out of hot water. But again, as day traders, we're not too worried about this. That's a long ways off. All we're looking for is a hot day when the stock runs and we can take some gains. I wasn't done with the news, was I? I don't think so. Okay, so let's see what this key manufacturing milestone is. Since it's the only piece of news, and when did this come out? This came out on the 4th of this month. Okay, we can just look at the positive pros here. Validation production lots for cartridge and infusion sets have begun. Maintains a target for the first quarter of 2026 for the commercial launch. Now, there's the big deal. All right, there's the big deal. The company's not making any money. They've got themselves a hot product. There's a lot of people out there who have diabetes who are probably going to like this, and they're launching it right now, which means they're going to start making money like that. Boom. That's why we get into these companies, to share in the profits. And we already got stockholder equity. Product is removable, tubeless 3 milliliter patch pump targeting MDI users. It's scalable, low-cost manufacturing platform positioned for high volume demand. I bet this thing is super duper cheap. It's probably $1.50 to make, and they're going to sell it for $150, right? Something like that. And let's see, any other information I can get here? Inside ownership, if you're looking over here, lots of information. 5.7% insider ownership, 38% institution ownership. Now, it's always good to see institutions invested in a company you're in. But if you're getting into a stock to take gains, you want to get there before the institutions. The institutions buy a lot, and they buy it cheap. We always come in after they do. They make more money than we do, believe it or not. So when you see a company that's got a lot of institutional ownership, remember, there aren't going to be any big investors coming in because most of them have already come in already. So I guess disclosures would be the last thing. Well, we'll go back over here. It doesn't look like it wants to give me the disclosures over there. Thanks for bearing with me here. All right. Wins approval to triple share. What's this? January 23rd, wins approval to triple share authorization. All right, so they want to put more shares in the bank. Right now, they've got 100 million shares authorized. Authorized shares are shares that are not on the market yet. They're shares they could put on the market, shares they could use to entice big executives to come on board. You give them a whole bunch of free shares, or you could use them to make a deal, a merger, an acquisition, an all-stock transaction. So we don't know that they're going to be putting them all on the market, but it is a possibility. So they're going to kick it up from 100 million to 250 million shares. Anything else we got there? No. Let's see if there's another filing here to consider. What's this? Reverse stock split. Modular Medical Proxy adds reverse stock split, big share, and equity plan increases. Uh-oh. This is all big news, folks. Okay. I'm reading right there. Yeah, see, we don't have bullets. Okay, the company is asking shareholders at its January 23rd meeting, we need to find out what happened there, to vote on a whole bunch of things. The board was seeking to approve and implement within the next year a reverse stock split in the ratio of a 1-for-5 up to a 1-for-40 without reducing the authorized shares. That is to kick the price up. That's what they're planning on doing if things don't go right by June, right? And they're going to increase the authorized share count and they want to give more shares to the insiders, an incentive plan to have them do a better job. So sounds like there's a lot of stuff that could give us a lot of shareholder dilution down the road. As day traders, this isn't going to bother us as long as you're not around this stock for months at a time. And things can change. Once the stock gets over $1, it's going to be out of hot water, and they won't have to worry about the reverse stock split. Now, they've probably already approved it. It's probably sitting there waiting to be used. And if stuff goes bad, they can use it. But again, they just can't drop it on you. They've got to give you a forewarning. The rules say minimum of 5 days, though I've seen it as few as 3, and they seem to get away with it. But you will get a warning. Think that takes care of everything for mod. Yes. So the big news here is, and it is big news, they are launching their diabetes insulin pump this quarter. We're already into the second month, so it's got to be happening right now. This is going to be very cheap to manufacture. They're already manufacturing it, and you know there's a market out there for it. And they haven't been making any money. So that's the big deal here. They're going to start making bucks. Take a look at Mod's chart. Mod. I am so mod at you. Going back a year. Steady downtrend over the last year. Had a 52-week high back in March of last year at $1.29. She hit a 52-week low of 28 cents at the end of November. We had one tag onto the 200, which is good for me. I like to see a lot of them, but as long as I see one, it tells me she's not totally ignoring the 200. Now, our 200 is still falling, shows a little slack, like it's trying to level off a little bit right now. We've got our 200 haul down here at the bottom, and the price is in the middle, primed, sitting on top of the 50. Totally just sitting there waiting, twiddling her thumbs. Come on, Mr. 200 haul. I need a boost. Once this 200 haul, which is flat right now, probably tomorrow morning, it's going to turn up and it's going to give that a jump. Now, we are on the daily chart, which means every bar covers a day. So we've got to consider that. But this is all set up and ready to go. Our oscillators, what do we got going on down here? Well, our PPO, percentage price oscillator, is starting to climb. Our MACD, which is like your PPO. PPO, percentage price oscillator, uses a percentage of the price. Your MACD uses the whole price. The MACD is just now turning up as well. Our ADX, not looking great. Everything is weak. This is the full chart. Weak is down at the bottom, strength at the top. You want your green bar up at the top. That's your uptrend. If the red bar is up there, it means you're in a downtrend. And the yellow line tells you how strong the trend in charge is. Right now, everything is on the floor. Nothing is strong. Not the uptrend, not the downtrend, not any trend. It's just weak. And our RSI, dead center in the middle. Weak. We hate it ranging in the center. We're right there at 50. Coming down to our 6-month, 4-hour view. Beef up our chart a little bit. Well, now she's starting to break to and through the 200 more often, showing us some excitement, some desire to get on top of it and climb. She has now broke out up on top to a flat 200. That 200 is flat and it is now starting to climb. Matter of fact, she was pulling up here. She is bouncing on it, rolling, nice, easy rolls, lots of rolls, and our MAs are right there making a decision. The price is on the 50. There's a 200. There's a 200. We're in a 200 squeeze again. And it doesn't matter which 200 is on which side. As long as she gets on top of the 50, she's got the chance to blast off through the top 200. Oscillators are all docile right now. Everything's a little lukewarm. Coming down to our 20-day 1-hour view. So she dipped underneath the 200 and she's been under the 200, putting her head up over top, getting some air, but not showing a whole lot of enthusiasm to want to break out. She's going sideways right now, working on another 200 squeeze. There's our 200 haul, our 200 MA. The price is low. Very low right now, but everything is calm. There's just not a lot of wind. There's not a lot of waves. It's kind of tough to predict. But the long chart shows she is setting up right now. That daily chart says she's ready to break out. We just need volume, and volume has been in the picture here recently. So I would be putting MOD on my watch list as well. The last three, we had MOD, we had MOBT, is that what it was? God, I can't remember them. 5-day, 5-minute. She's struggling, but she looks like she's starting to win the battle. Our 200-day MA was falling here. Right here, it went flat. She took that opportunity to have a breakout. That put her on top of the 200. She bounced on it a few times and then took a dip here, and she's coming up with a big green bar. Big green bar, putting herself not only on top of the 20 and the 200, but on top of the 50. She's getting back into the position for climbing, folks. Everything here is setting up for a climb. She hasn't got the volume. She hasn't got perfect positioning. All of her oscillators are turning up right now. She's setting up. She deserves to be on your watch list because she's in position. We just need that flag, and this race is going to take off. Whew. Is that it? Did I finish without screwing up once? By golly, I think I did. Hello. Hi. All right, folks, that covers it. Now, I see here, where? You were talking about the stock I was just talking about, right? Is there a new investor presentation for that stock? I'm thinking that's what you were talking about because I seen this too. And we didn't talk about that. So there's a lot of things that you need to consider. That's why I have people make comments over there because I'm not going to cover everything. Not in the time I got. So you guys are sharing information amongst yourselves as well. Good. Glad to hear it. Folks, I appreciate you being here with me today. My voice has managed to hold up. My brain right now is getting to that sizzle point. I can feel it. It's like I talk too much and don't breathe enough, and I start getting too much carbon in my brain, and it just doesn't do what it's supposed to. And I'm there right now. So this is a real good time to say adios, amigos. I'll see you next week, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Thursday. I have been talking to a compadre, somebody who's been with me before, who does the charting for me. Yeah, you see my charting every day. And as far as I'm concerned, any opportunity you get to watch someone else chart, it's great because everybody charts differently. We all see things differently. We notice things and point different things out. You can learn so much by watching different people chart. And you've been watching me chart for a long time. So you know what I'm always looking for, them 200 squeezes, right? See you next week, folks. Thank you so much for bearing up with me. I love you guys. See ya. No Home Alone today. No, ain't happening. Ain't doing it. He ain't doing it.